Okay,
We
so
are
we
live.
are talking about sleep
Or lack thereof.
or the lack thereof. Exactly. Yeah. So, you know, Coach Sharon, I have not been able to get enough sleep consistently, and we know how important sleep is to just health overall, and overall wellness. Um, and so you know it, you want to try to, because we had a little exchange where you were like, oh, I'm not sleeping. You were telling me like, oh, I'm not sleeping a lot, and I was like, me neither.
Yep.
you
Yep.
know so let's just talk about that. Like, why, first of all, like, why are we not getting enough sleep? Because I'm sure that most people, especially, at least I can say in this country, just are not doing it. And there are some, I think, some usual suspects for why we just don't get enough.
I think you're right. With me, it's just I don't make enough time for it. Busyness. So I get myself too busy. And then when I want to relax at the end of the day, I don't have necessarily a lot of time to do that. Well, a
Mhm.
whole bunch of things happen. I might not have enough time to do that. But then when I actually do that, I end up falling asleep like in my chair. And then
Mhm.
I wake up and then I don't feel like going sleeping at that point. So I stay awake again. Now, by the time I go to bed, I'm getting maybe 6 hours of sleep, five and a half, 6 hours of sleep.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what happens to me.
And what happens to me is that I get like, I'm a thinker. I think all the time about different things, and so I'll get in a place where I'll just kind of get into a zone of thinking about different things. Then I'm up all night, and don't let me like get my phone out and start googling
Yeah.
anything, because then it's like I'm down the rabbit hole of thing of Google. Um, just looking up different things. Yesterday, because today, if you haven't noticed the bags under my eyes,
You're so gorgeous. Don't you worry about a thing.
oh, thank you. So sweet. You're so sweet. I haven't slept at all, barely, maybe 4 hours or so. Um, and I know I had a late night, but I generally go to bed around 11 or 12, right? If I'm being honest. I wake up, my first client, that I see 6:30 in the morning, to coach. So I'm waking up at like 6, 5:30, 6 o'clock, sometimes earlier. Sometimes I'm waking up at 5. So anywhere between 5 and 6, I normally am waking up, but I'm going to bed at 12.
Right. Me too. That's about
Right.
my bedtime, between 11 and 12.
Yeah.
11 very rarely, very rarely. So I'm going to even say 11:30 and 12. I don't get, because I have to watch the weather, see what it's going to be like the next day. So by
You
the
can
time
do
the
that
weather
on an
comes out,
app. You don't have to
it's not, it's
watch
not the
the
same.
weather. Oh
It's
my
not the same.
God.
And then I'm watching the
The
news
weather
and
report is an experience for you.
it's such an experience. Yeah, it's a spiritual experience watching the weather.
Okay. No, I don't know. I get that, but okay.
No,
You to each his
it's a
own.
habit. It's a habit.
Yeah, yeah.
Bad habit.
Well, yeah. So part of it is right, like sleeping later, and for me, like my last training class, like last night, I did my last training was in Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and I think I didn't get home until like 10 or so at night.
And then you're all wired, right? Still.
Actually, no, I got home a little bit before that. There's some traffic on the way. Yeah, I think I got home at like, well, not much earlier though, like 9:45 or so. But I hadn't eaten, right? Because the day had been so busy, and I like my day, was work, 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 client, 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 train, come home, hadn't really eaten, right? So that's a part of it too. So when I got home, I was kind of like starving because the only meal I really had was breakfast and one of those little muscle milkshakes. You know what I mean? I just didn't have I did not plan, I didn't pack my snacks. So that was a part of it too. And I got home and I had a tuna steak and green beans. And then I stayed up for another hour because I never like to eat and just go to sleep. I stayed up,
Right.
you know, hung out with my partner and then we were, having time because obviously I didn't have time during the day. And then I went to sleep.
Yeah.
But it took a while. And then I wake up naturally. I'm starting to wake up. I woke up at 2 o'clock this morning, right? Like if I went to sleep at 12, I
Wow.
woke up at 2. Then I went back to bed, woke up again at 5, went back to bed, woke up again at 6.
Yeah.
It's been that kind of a day. Like what can what can we do differently? It's a thing of there's all these tricks, turn off your technology,
Yeah.
um, maybe don't have the meal, but what do you do if if you haven't eaten all day?
That's the thing. That's the thing. For me, it's not even a matter of getting up later because I can't. Because I'm like you. My first client is 7 o'clock.
Right.
And I have to travel to get there. So by the time I get up and I have a little something to eat and I get in the car and I drive, I need to be awake too. I don't want to like wake up at 6 and then run there because I'm still like, "Ugh." So
Right.
I can't get up earlier. So it's a matter of going to bed earlier
Yeah. Yeah.
for me.
That's the thing. And you know what? When I have to go to bed earlier, so like the days I go to bed at like 10, and I'm able to sleep consistently, have a good night's rest, I'm good to go. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
But that's so few and far between. And it's one of those things where we talk about the health habits that we want to change. It's so easy, especially for somebody, like me, to say I can do good with the exercise, I get tons of that.
Yeah.
I can do good with the nutrition, although, sweets, we all know Oreo. I'm open, right, and honest about how much I love Oreos, but I'm not, I'm not doing I'm not binge eating Oreos or anything like that. You know what I mean? I'm still living like in the right way, and just sparingly from time to time I'll have my Oreos. That's okay. That's
Yeah.
okay, right? You're not doing it every day. I can say, okay, I can do good on the nutrition, eat clean, right? The majority of the time, which is the healthier way to look at it, rather than going to be strict every single day and regimented in this and not have anything, no indulgences, right? Not something that you and I believe in.
No.
So we can say all of that stuff. I can say I'm going to dedicate time to my my intellect and my spirituality and meditate and all these different things. But when it comes to sleep, this is one of those things that time and time again, I try to work on it. And you hear people like I was listening to Steve Harvey once, and he said something like, I don't know any successful, rich people who sleep. What is that? You
Yeah.
hear people that say that, like, what is sleep? What, but then the juxtaposition between super successful people saying that they don't really sleep a lot, and that's the norm in their peer group, and then the health and wellness industry saying, well, you need 7 to 9 hours.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think for me, I think everybody's got to kind of go with their norm. Like a lot of people really don't require a lot of sleep. So,
Mhm.
you think about things like, okay, like I've often told people, well, they'll say, I can't get rid of, I really can't get rid of this gut and blah, 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 blah. How much sleep do you get? Oh, I don't sleep a lot. Okay, well, your body's probably dumping leptin, which is, the hormone that tells you to stop eating. But,
Mhm.
and that happens naturally. I get all that. But there are people that doesn't happen to because their body doesn't require a lot of sleep. So I think it's a matter of knowing how much you need. Obviously, you and I need more, and there's a lot of people that need more. So the question is, how do those people get more? What do you do to make yourself get more? Is it a matter of really getting yourself to relax in the evening so that you can actually for you to stop your mind?
Yeah. I think having maybe a nighttime ritual, we talk about all these different things. And it's funny because I grew up very much so not wanting to subscribe to, I gotta do, very free, even up until very recently. Have I been able to respect and really admire the magic in habits, right? And this is now my passion, right?
Oh yeah.
And is in habit change. I didn't really, before I was like, I do it or I don't, and I was such a rebel that even if I say, I don't know how many people out there can attest to this, but if I even said I'm going to do this, I will rebel against my own self. I would. So I had to trick myself. I had to not say that I was going to do something. I just had to let it happen. Until I developed self-discipline. And when I was able to develop self-discipline, then I can say like, okay, this is the key. This is the key to success in certain things. I can't just let things happen. I can't just by chance get enough sleep. I have to plan for that. Because if you let, whether or not you've got family or you've got, I don't know, if you got responsibilities, you got things that you're doing, it's just really hard to be like, oh, I'm going to get enough sleep when you haven't planned to go to sleep at a certain hour.
Right. And even when you do that, things get in the way, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you've realized it or not, but you cannot catch up on sleep. You can't, because, if you try to do that, like say, last weekend when it was, Memorial weekend, it's like, okay, well, we've got this time off. I'm going to catch up on my sleep. Mm-hmm. It seems like the more you try to catch up on your sleep, the more tired you get. And that's when you realize how much your body is lacking that sleep.
Yep. That's right. I don't know how many times it's been like, okay, if I sleep, I've had days like this where I'm sleeping, 10 hours, not often, but sometimes it's like, okay, just all day you need to sleep. You wake up and you feel groggy. You can't do anything.
Right.
Like I can't do anything. I don't feel energized at all. This is not the answer. So I think it's really one of those things of, for me, I'm going to say, Brandi is going to be working on this, and whoever, is out there that also shares this problem, shares this issue with us. Right. And Coach Sharon, maybe it's something that you want to try too, but really figure out what is going to be the nighttime routine that sets you up for a nice, restful night. Right. Because you want to be able to sleep and you want to have good quality sleep. You want to be able to do it without, taking a lot of people taking melatonin, and that's not bad, but you don't want to be taking like an Ambien or, taking these sleep drugs if you don't have to, right. Like if you can go to sleep without being dependent upon some kind of medication to go to sleep, then you want to try to do that, and if you need that, this is a different story, but try it this way first. Chamomile tea I used to try to drink, and see if that helps to to calm me and to relax me, or listening to music. I don't know, I used to have a sleep mask that I put on. I don't recommend them now because I got like a temporary blindness because of it once. That's another story, but that's another story. That's a whole other story.
Oh my God.
I don't do sleep masks now, but But whatever it is that you have to do, I think that it's important for us to plan for it and to continue to plan for how are we going to wind down into the time that we're going to go to sleep, maybe starting an hour beforehand, and
That's
then
the key. Yep.
maybe starting an hour beforehand and then bringing it into, the hour that you have to sleep, and then setting your timer in the morning for when you want to wake up. But if you wake up naturally before then, I guess your body's probably ready to wake up and just wake up and try to stay up. But to plan for it. So
No, that's absolutely true. Do everything. For me, that's what it is. I've got to start things earlier. Yeah, I've got to start my wind down. Oh no, well, I was gonna say, remember when you were a kid, but I remember that when I was a kid, and when I had my kids, they had wind down period, because they would like go and go and go all day, and they'd be wired. They'd play right up until it was time to go to bed initially. And then I thought, not good, because they were still wired. So an hour before they went to bed. So if their bedtime was 8 o'clock, at 7 o'clock, I was reading them a book. They had to sit quietly, and I read them a story, and they sat with me, and that was their wind down time. So as adults, we need to have a wind down time.
Yeah, we forget a lot about those things. That's a great point, as a mother, right, that you have that with your children, and that it was effective for them. But a lot of times, just being, and I've worked with kids for 16 years. So thinking about the things that are effective for young people, regardless in their development, their cognitive development stage, is also effective for adults.
Right.
So that's a good reminder. That's a very good reminder. Well, I think that we have exhausted our 15 minutes. I mean, sometimes we stay on it. Sometimes we're a little bit over. It's okay. We have good conversations. This was a much needed one, because like I said, I'm currently today dealing with this situation.
Yeah, very, very timely. There you go. Yep.
Very timely conversation. I'm gonna remind myself of that. And I think it's also important to just to say that even though we're professionals, we're practicing what we're preaching. So,
Right.
and so nobody is trying to say we're perfect. What we're saying is that, we can coach you through these things. These conversations help, right? Listening to people who know what they're talking about, but who also experience the same sort of issues, right? We face the issues and we deal with it. I think that's the major thing when you're talking about long-term health and long-term behavior change. If you fall off the horse, just get back on it. If you didn't have the best sleep tonight, try to do better tomorrow night.
Right.
If you didn't eat well, try to eat well in your next meal, but all sorts of things. If you got things to sort out financially, sort them out, work towards it. And I think, we are doing that work to practice what we preach, regardless of our setbacks or our slipbacks. So I'm going to take ownership of the fact that I didn't get hardly any sleep.
Yeah. And you'll do better next time.
And I'll do better next time. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Perfect.
All right. Well, let's end on that note. We will talk next week about something else that's nice and interesting. And you guys who are watching, if you have topics that you want us to talk about, by all means, please let us know in the comment section. We want to talk about things that are relevant to you. We try to come up with topics that we think are going to be interesting, entertaining, and informative. But if you have things that you really want us to tackle, let us know. Comments, DM if you're on Facebook, and message.
Right.
All right.